starts with a C minor. Starts with Interestingly, if you sing the song with that chord, I'll sing the song over the top of it with just that chord going, see if it sounds like the song. Please can we stop the noise? I'm trying to get somewhere. It's supposed to change in between there. But you'll notice it's the bass line that actually makes the song. If I just play the bass line, please can we stop the noise? I'm trying. Top melody is just the C minor and the G minor. Doesn't do much that clever. It's just two chords for that verse bit. The bar length of the verse is odd, but we'll get to that at the end. But basically it's just a C minor and a G minor. On the bass, we go on the C minor, we start with the C, which works, of course. We then drop a tone. That sort of having the bass a tone out from the root chord, that's used in a lot of songs. It's almost, well it is in a way, it's sort of related to those three chord songs in E that have E, A and D, because that D, if we go that's a tone out. It's the other way round. The chord is a tone flat of the bass as compared to what Radiohead did, but creates tension. That tone always does. Start of Streets Have No Name by U2 is a C on the bottom with a D arpeggio running. You want that root chord, but you get it from the other direction. So suddenly you go, ooh. Then it comes to an F on the bass. This F is the fourth note of C, so it's the fourth is always going to be related. So fifth is the C of F. It's the fifth. C is the fifth of F. So because we're playing a C minor, it kind of works that we're on the F. The interesting thing here is that they've actually made a jazz chord. They've made an F ninth that's got the root of the F, the fifth in the C arpeggio that's occurring at the top, the E flat, which is the seventh of F. Hey John. So we've got the seventh of F, just a little bit of that, and the ninth of F. If you play that in another context outside of OK Computer or Paranoid Android, you just go, you have a listen to this chord. This is the chord though. Hasn't got that A in it, but it's a funky chord. They've just thrown it into a pop song with an acoustic guitar. It's a jazz chord. You sort of know it. You've heard it in jazz classics. You've heard it in Bugs Bunny cartoons. Here it is, just popping its head up. How they got that idea, I don't know, but that's what sort of makes that work. That bass line shift on its own turns it into an F ninth. Normally an unacceptable chord in sort of the popular realm of music, not that Radiohead or perhaps pop music as such, but you know, in the popular realm of, known bands, normally not the chord. But because they've just done it by shifting the bass and holding that riff, the repetition has won the battle. And you can accept it because nothing's changed. It's got one note. Alright, so the C, drop the bass tone, the F on the bottom, making the ninth chord, jazz chord suddenly in there. Step up to the third of that chord, which is effectively sort of making a diminished seventh, because the F disappears, and then it moves up to the B flat, which we just played, so that makes it kind of nice. It kind of works well for three reasons. That top note there, because we just played it, it was 2 notes ago. When we hit that A, it was only 2 notes ago, so we're ready for it. Drops really well onto the G, which is a simple change from the top arpeggio from the C minor to the G minor, which is the fifth. So, drops off the G, and plus it's only a semitone gap up from the A, so you're sort of just for the, and it's also on the offbeat. It's kind of an awkward note to have in there, in one sense, in that it's not part of the arpeggio that we're playing at that point. But, and there's a lot of notes only a third away from each other because it's a 4-note arpeggio at the end of the day. But it works. Goes up to B flat, drops down to the G minor. Now that step up again was always going to work because B flat, the final note of it, goes up to A and then B flat. B flat is the third now, so the fact that we're on the way to the third, the A in the middle, is also a repetition of what we just played in the last little bit there. So here it is. Repeats that little bit. Only a very small repeat, but some of them are like that. And then drops down to the E, which once again, strangely, makes the G minor an E diminished seventh. Put the minor seventh in there. Same chord as we finished on. As opposed to here, we're going. But they've sort of done a similar thing there in the end of the G bit to what they did in the C bit. Looks different, but you do end up on the relative minor third, giving a diminished chord and a seventh of the G and of the C when it runs the first half of the verse. So it's kind of repeating itself. If you listen to just these chords, I'll emphasize them this time through. On the C, they drop to the B flat. That never occurs when they're on the G. Never does that sort of thing, but, it's sort of a repetition. So, we run through that a couple of times and then we get to the next bit.